Hello everyone, welcome you all to another session of Teaching ICSE Biology for Standard 10. In this video, I will explain you the chapter 7 of your course book, that is Chemical Coordination in Plants. Movements of body parts are common in animals and in plants. But in plants, the movements are seen in the form of bending, twisting, and elongation of certain parts. These movements are caused due to changes in the external as well as internal factors. The changes in the environment or environmental factors to which the organisms respond and react are called stimuli. Stimuli can be heat, cold, sound, smell, taste, touch, pressure, pain, water, force of gravity, chemicals, etc. The resulting actions or movements caused by stimuli are called response. See the picture. If a man touches a very hot utensil accidentally, he quickly pulls his hand away from the hot utensil. Here, heat is the stimulus and the man gives the response by moving his hand away from the hot utensil. Similarly, plants also respond to stimuli. We know that a sunflower always faces the sun. Here the sunlight is the stimulus and response is bending of sunflower towards the sun. From these examples, we conclude that response to stimuli is a characteristic property of the living organisms. Both plants and animals react or respond to various stimuli around them. But the method of response to stimuli is not similar in plants and animals. For example, plants bend towards light, but animals do not bend towards light. When a stimulus acts on a living body, it reacts or responds in a manner which is in the best interest of the body. For example, when a shoot bends towards sunlight, it absorbs sunlight for photosynthesis to prepare food for the plant. So that the response of bending towards the sunlight is in the best interest, that is photosynthesis. This response, which is given by living body to the stimulus, involves many organs of the body. It is therefore necessary that all the concerned organs should work with one another in a systematic manner so as to produce the required response. For example, if a plant absorbs water through the roots, that water will travel through the stems to reach the leaves. Then the leaves become turgid and properly exposed to sunlight and can receive sunlight for photosynthesis. Moreover, water is one of the raw material for photosynthesis. Thus, many organs are working in coordination. In other words, the various organs should cooperate with one another to provide proper reaction to the stimulus. The working together of the various organs of an organism in a systematic manner so as to produce a proper response to stimulus is called coordination. In animal body, control and coordination is done by nervous system, sense organs and hormones produced by endocrine system. But In plants, control and coordination is done only by hormones. In this chapter, we will discuss about chemical coordination in plants. Plants do not have a nervous system or sense organs like ears, nose, etc. like animals, but they can sense things. Plants can sense things like light, gravity, chemical, water, touch, etc. by the action of hormones in them. But in plants, the response is slow in comparison to animals. So plants coordinate their behavior against environmental changes or factors by using hormones. Different parts of the same plants may respond differently to the same stimulus. For example, shoot of a plant grows towards the light while root of a plant moves away from light. Let us know first what are hormones. Hormone is a chemical regulatory substance produced in an organism and transported in tissue fluids such as blood in animals or cell sap in plants to stimulate specific cells or tissues into action. What are the characteristics of plant hormones? These hormones in plants coordinate their behavior by affecting the growth of a plant, and the effect of growth of the plant result in the movement of a part of the plant like shoot or root, etc. In some cases, growth is stimulated or accelerated, while in others it is inhibited or stopped. For example, auxin and gibberellin are plant hormones which promote growth and development, but abscisic acid is a plant hormone which retards or stops the growth and development of plants. These hormones are produced in one area of the plant, transported around the body of the plant. Hormones are produced in different parts like apical meristem, young leaves, roots, etc. But they are transported to the whole plant body by cell sap. From any part of the plant body, if we collect some cell sap, we will see the presence of hormones there. They have their effects at a location far away from the site of their production. Cytokinin is a plant hormone which is produced in roots, but it prevents aging of all parts of the plant. The term hormone was first used by William Bayliss and Ernest Starling in 1902. Plant hormones are also called phytohormones. Phytohormones coordinate the activities of the plant by controlling one or the other aspect of the growth of the plant. Activities means opening, closing of stomata, fruit ripening, gilead, falling of leaves, cell elongation, cell division, etc. All the activities of plants are regulated by plant hormones. Growth of the plant can be divided into three types, that is cell division, cell enlargement and cell differentiation or cell specialization. Cell division is the process in which cells divide to increase the number of cells. The daughter cells formed are then enlarged to increase their size and grow to their full extent, then get ready to divide again. For example, meristematic cells. But some cells take up specialized functions and not for the divide. They are specialized cells like xylem phloem tissues which take up a specialized function of conduction of material in the plant body. These three stages of plant growth as well as promotion of dormancy. Dormancy means inactive period. Breaking of dormancy, stomatal control, falling of leaves, fruit growth, ripening of fruits, and aging of plants are controlled by plant hormones. There are 5 major types of plant hormones which are involved in the control and coordination in plants. They are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, ethylene, and abscisic acid. First hormone is auxin. Important facts about auxin. The term auxin was first coined by F. W. Wentz in 1928 from the Greek word auxin, which means to grow. It is the first growth hormone discovered in plants. Auxins are powerful growth stimulants and are quite effective at extremely low concentration. Even a very small amount of auxin also can stimulate good plant growth. Auxins are universally distributed in higher plants and lower plants as well. It is seen in all the plants. Site of synthesis of auxin. Primarily, it is synthesized in shoot apical meristems and young leaves. Functions are auxin promotes the growth of stem, roots and fruits by cell elongation. Auxins delay leaf senescence. Senescence means aging and falling of leaves. They don't allow the leaves to grow old early. They delay the aging process. Automatically then the falling of leaves also is delayed. Auxins promote the growth of apical buds and inhibit the growth of lateral buds. And this process is called apical dominance. This is the process in which the buds which are grown at the tip of the stem, they are grown well, and the growth of lateral buds which grow on either side of the stems, their growth is inhibited or stopped. Auxins induce rooting in the cutting of some plants like rose. If we take a cut stem of rose and sow it in the soil, then it will start giving out roots. That is due to the effect of auxin. Auxins can induce fruit formation without fertilization in fruits like apple, tomatoes, etc. Such development of fruits without fertilization is called parthenocarpy. Normally, fruits are formed after fertilization. But if without fertilization fruits are formed, then the process is called parthenocarpy. Here you can see the important function of auxin. Auxin eradication causes a terminal bud to point towards the sun. In the first picture you see the picture of a terminal bud is there and it is getting sunlight from the above, and all the parts, all the cells of this bud is getting sunlight equally. So all the cells are growing equally, elongated equally. So the shoot is growing well, straight up. But in the second picture you see the terminal bud, the stem is little bit bent. Why this happens? Because this is getting sunlight from one side. From which side it is getting sunlight? The part of the stem or bud on that side loses oxygen. Oxygen gets eradicated or removed from that side. The sunny side, which is facing sun, is not having oxygen. Oxygen is removed. And the other side, which is the shady side, it is not getting sunlight, but oxygen production takes place there. So that makes the cells of that side grow longer. Lengthening or elongation of cells takes place, which makes the tip point of the bird bend towards the sun. This is the reason why sunflower bends towards the sun. Another important function of oxygen is it induces apical dominance. You can see in the picture, apical buds are active buds. They grow well. And the lateral buds which are grown on either side, they are dormant buds. They are inactive buds. Oxygen production does not allow the lateral buds to grow properly. It allows the apical buds to grow well. So apical buds are dominant over the lateral buds, and this phenomenon of the suppression of growth of lateral buds by apical buds is called apical dominance. The second plant hormone we are going to discuss is gibberellin. Important facts about gibberellin are there are different forms of gibberellin reported from different plants named as GA1, GA2, GA3 and so on. However, gibberellic acid, that is GA3, is the most studied form. Site of synthesis of gibberellin. Primarily in the meristem of apical buds it is synthesized, and also in the seeds and roots. Functions of gibberellin are, gibberellin's function almost is similar to function of oxygen. Gibberellins promote the growth of internodes by cell elongation. Internode is the part of the stem between two nodes, and nodes are the places on the stem where the new branches, buds or leaves grow. If the stem cells elongate, then the stem grows in length. Gibberellins promote fruit growth and are capable of inducing parthenocarpy also, the process of production of formation of fruit without fertilization. Gibberellin also, like oxygen, delays senescence, falling of leaves, aging and falling of leaves. Gibberellin are widely used in horticulture and food industries to increase the length of grapes, elongate apples and improve their shape. Gibberellins are also widely used in horticulture and food industries. These hormones enhance longitudinal growth of internodes in dwarf plants. They are used commercially to increase the length of grapes, elongate apples, and improve their shape. Gibberellic acid is also used to speed up the malting process in brewing industry. See the function of gibberellin here described with the help of diagrams. It helps in seed germination and it helps in elongation of stem cells and increasing the length of the stem. In the first picture you see lengthening of the stem is resulted due to effect of gibberellin. In the second picture you see seed germination takes place with the help of gibberellin. Next hormone is cytokinin. Important facts about cytokinin. Cytokinins have been discovered in 1950s by Skoog and Miller. Cytokinins have specific effects on cell division. Means they can cause cell division in non-meristematic tissues also, permanent tissues. Normally, permanent tissues are not capable of cell division, but cytokinin can make cell division possible in permanent tissues. Site of synthesis of cytokinin is primarily in the roots, and then they are transported to all other organs of the plant body. Functions of cytokinin are: cytokinins stimulate plant growth by cell division even in non-meristematic tissues. They cause expansion of cotyledons in the seed. Cotyledon stores food for the seed. They break seed dormancy and promote germination. Seed normally uh, possess a stage of dormancy or inactiveness, during which period it remains inactive. That is called a dormant seed. The seeds we see in the market, the seeds we store in our house, those are dormant seeds. When they get suitable conditions like water and temperature, warmth and oxygen and all, then that their dormancy breaks and they germinate. And cytokinin helps in breaking that dormancy and make the seeds active and promote the germination of seeds. They promote chlorophyll synthesis also in chloroplast and delay leaf senescence. They don't allow the leaves to get old very early. They inhibit apical dominance. Gibberellin and auxin both facilitate apical dominance, but cytokinin stops apical dominance. You can see in the diagram A where the lateral buds are growing very well, but no apical buds are grown. The cytokinin modify apical dominance. It inhibits or stops apical dominance in stems, and it facilitates or promotes lateral bud growth. So lateral buds are grown very well, and it also stimulates seed germination, formation of radicles and plumels. You can see in the picture that is showing the process of germination. Next hormone is ethylene. Important facts about ethylene is a gas at ordinary temperature. Its site of synthesis and site of action are same. Where it is synthesis, there its effects are same. A gas causing ripening of fruits was first found to be emanating or originating from oranges, which helped in the ripening of bananas when stored together. The gas was then found to be ethylene by argon. Ethylene is the most widely used plant growth hormone in agriculture. Its site of synthesis is senescent leaves and flowers, grown leaves, old leaves and flowers, germinating seeds and ripening fruits. The functions of ethylene are: ethylene causes reduction of stem elongation. Auxin and gibberellin facilitate cell elongation, but ethylene reduces cell elongation. It causes acceleration of senescence. It facilitates senescence. It makes the leaves grow old and it ripens the fruits, and then the old leaves and fruits fall off from the plant. It helps in ripening of fruits, initiating germination in peanut seeds and sprouting of potato tuber. It helps in promoting root growth and root hair formation. It helps in inducing flowering in mango also. You can see in the picture the function of ethylene, that is ripening of fruits and root hair formation. The last plant hormone or phytohormone is abscisic acid. Important facts about abscisic acid are: Abscisic acid is a growth retarding hormone. Fruits and seeds contain the highest amount of abscisic acid. Site of synthesis is green fruits and seeds at the beginning of the wintering period. Wintering period means this is an annual event which takes place in plant body and falls between February to May. During this period, the old leaves die and fall off and the new leaves are formed. So new green leaves and green fruits began to grow during this period. Function of abscisic acid: it acts as a general plant growth inhibitor. It stops plant growth. It obstructs or retards plant growth by slowing down plant metabolism. It induces dormancy of buds and seeds. It makes buds and seeds dormant, inactive. It inhibits seed germination and development. It accelerates senescence and abscission of fruits, flowers, etc. Abscission means falling, ripening of fruits and falling of fruits, leaves getting old and fall off, that is called abscission. Flowers get uh, old and fall off. It stimulates the closure of stomata in the epidermis and increases the tolerance of plants. It makes the plant, it has one advantage that it makes the plants to withstand against adverse conditions, excessive dryness, desiccation. All these conditions can be um, properly dealt by the plants. Abscisic acid is the main reason of seed dormancy. It stops seed germination. Actually, it is the ratio of abscisic acid and gibberellin in the seed which determines whether the seed remains dormant or it will germinate. It closes the stomata. Turgid, when guard cells are turgid, stomata are open, but due to effect of abscisic acid, guard cells become flaccid and stomata get closed. Then we'll discuss about movements in plants. The plants are fixed at a place with their roots in the ground, so they cannot move from one place to another. That is, they do not show locomotion. However, the movements of individual parts or organs of a plant like shoot, roots, leaves, etc. are possible when they are subjected to some external stimuli like light, force of gravity, chemical substance, water, touch, etc. We know that a seed germinates in the soil. Its roots and shoot keep growing if the developing plant has to survive. But the growth of the root and shoot must take place in right direction. The root must grow downwards in the soil, which will provide support, water and minerals for the plant. The shoot must grow up towards light source so that the developing leaflets could carry out photosynthesis in order to produce food for the growing plant. The movements of these plants, parts of the plant, takes place in direct response to stimuli. The direction of the response is related to the direction from which the stimulus comes. Such a response is called tropism. The tropic movements in plants. We can define tropic movements as tropic movements are growth movements of different parts of the plant in direct response to external stimuli, and the direction of the response is related to the direction from which the plant gets stimulus, or the growth movements occurring in response to unidirectional external stimuli in a plant part are called tropic movements or tropism. For example, shoots growing towards the sunlight, a root growing towards the water. Here sunlight and water are stimuli and the movements are movement of root and movement of shoot. Tropic movements are of following two types. Positive tropism. If the growth or movement of a plant part is towards the stimulus, it is called positive tropism. The negative tropism is if the growth or movement of a plant is away from the stimulus, then it is called negative tropism. There are different types of tropic movements. Mainly 5 types of tropic movements are there on the basis of 5 common stimuli. Tropic movements in response to light is called phototropism. In response to gravity is called geotropism. Movements in response to touch is called thigmotropism. Movement in response to water is called hydrotropism. And movements in response to chemicals is called chemotropism. Phototropism. Plants need sunlight, so the stems or shoots respond to sunlight by growing towards it. The plants also turn their leaves to face the sun. This makes sure that the leaves get as much sunlight as possible. When a plant is grown in the open ground with the sunlight coming from above, then the stem of the plant grows straight up. If, however, the plant is grown with sunlight coming from one side, as you see in the picture, then the stem of plant bends towards the direction from which the sunlight comes. The root of plant, however, bends away from the direction from which the sunlight comes. When we take a potted plant, and this potted plant is kept in open space, the sunlight falls from above, due to which the stem of the plant grows straight up towards the source of light. The roots of the plant also grow straight but in the downward direction. If we keep the potted plant near the window in a dark room so that the sunlight falls on it from the side to the window only, maybe from right side or left side. After some days, we will see that the stem of the plant bends towards the light, towards the same side from where the light is coming. This concludes that the stem of the plant responds to light and bend towards it. Here in this movement, oxygen plays an important role. Oxygen help in bending of a shoot towards the source of light by getting accumulated in the region of the shoot which is not facing the light. This results in rapid cell elongation in this side, thus causing the shoot to bend towards the source of light. Hence, the shoot shows positive phototropism while the root shows negative phototropism. Geotropism. The force with which the earth pulls all the things towards it, it is called gravity. The force of gravity always acts in the downward direction. The response of plants to gravity is called geotropism. The movement of a plant part in response to gravity, that is geotropism. This is also known as gravitropism. The roots of the plant always grow downward in response to gravity. This makes sure that they will find soil and water. The stem of the plants always grow up away from the pull of gravity. This makes sure that they will get light. If we take a potted plant and place this potted plant in normal position, we can see that the roots are growing downwards and the stem is growing upwards. But if we tilt the potted plant and keep the pot horizontally, as you see in the picture, on its sides, in this position, the roots and stem both are parallel to the ground. Allow the plant to remain in this position for a few days. After a few days, we will find that the roots of the potted plant bent towards the earth and the stem of the plant bent upward away from the earth. The roots of the plant grow downwards in response to the pull of gravity, and the stem of the plants responds to gravity in the opposite way by growing upwards away from the pull of gravity. Here the root tip shows positive geotropism while the shoot tip shows negative geotropism. We can demonstrate geotropism in plants through clinostat. Clinostat is an instrument which is used for demonstration of geotropism. It can allow a potted plant to rotate at a slow speed. Two such instruments are taken which are fixed with potted plants horizontally. You can see in the picture, one is rotated and the other is not rotated. After some time, we will see that the shoot of stationary clinostat shows negative geotropism and the roots show positive geotropism. But the other potted plant with rotated clinostat does not show any bending. This is due to the fact that all the plants are equally exposed to gravitational force during rotation. So they did not show geotropism. Another type of movement is thigmotropism. There are some plants called climbing plants which have weak stems and hence cannot stand upright or erect on their own. The climbing plants have climbing organs called tendrils. Tendrils are the thin thread-like growth on the stem or leaves of climbing plants. Tendrils have cells which can sense their contact with a nearby solid object like a bamboo stick or the stem of another plant. So when a tendril touches an object, then the side of tendril in contact with the object grows slowly than its other side. This causes the tendril to bend towards the object by growing towards it, wind around the object and cling to it. This winding movement of tendril of a climbing plant is an example of thigmotropism. The stimulus in thigmotropism is the touch or contact of an object. The winding movement of the tendril of a plant around a nearby object gives support to the plant having a weak stem. Plants such as sweet peas, cuscuta, vines, they have tendrils which coil around other plants in response to one-sided contact or touch. Stimulus is perceived by the tendril tips and then it is transmitted to basal parts. In this way, the entire tendril becomes sensitive to the stimulus touch. After receiving the stimulus, tendrils start winding around the support. Thread-like tendrils twine around the support available nearby. Tendrils provide a very common example of thigmotropism. Hydrotropism. The movement of plant parts in response to water or moisture is called hydrotropism. When a plant part grows towards the source of moisture or water, for example roots, it is said to be positively hydrotrophic. The growth of roots towards moisture ensures that roots will be near the water available in the soil. Thus, roots are positively hydrotrophic. When a plant part grows away from the source of moisture or water, it is said to be negatively hydrotrophic. The roots of plants always go towards water or moisture, even if it means going against the pull of gravity. Though roots normally grow downwards, but in order to reach water, they can grow sideways or even upwards also to get water. The roots grow in the direction of source of water so as to obtain water for the developing plant. Since roots always grow or move towards water, therefore roots are positively hydrotrophic. So roots of the plants grow towards the source of water or moisture, shows positive hydrotropism, and shoot goes away from water source, showing negative hydrotropism. Another movement is chemotropism. Chemotropism is the phenomenon of growth of plant organs in response to chemicals. The movement of pollen tube of angiosperms grow towards sugar and peptone secreted by stigma and the neck canal cells of the female gametophyte, that is embryo sac. You can see in the picture when the pollen grains fall on stigma, stigma secretes sugary substance. Then this sugary substance is a chemical which makes pollen grain start forming a pollen tube. Then green color part you can see surrounding the ovule, that is embryo sac. It also releases chemicals, and towards this embryo sac the pollen tube gets formed. So this is an example of chemotropism. The growth of pollen tube towards sugar and peptones secreted by stigma and neck canal cells of female gametophytes shows positive chemotropism. Another interesting or fascinating phenomenon of movement of young flower heads following the sun across the sky as it moves from east to west, that is called heliotropism. Usually sunflowers exhibit heliotropism. That is a fascinating phenomenon of young flower heads following the sun across the sky as it moves from east to west direction. This is because the sunflower plant contains auxins which are sensitive to sunlight. As a result, they migrate from the part of the plant bathed in sunlight to the shaded region of the stem. Auxins eventually stimulate the growth of cells in the shaded region of the stem so that the flowers end up bending in the opposite direction, that is towards the sun. At the end, I would like to mention the significance of tropic hormones. Tropic movements, not tropic hormones, that is tropic movements. These tropic movements help the plants to survive. They help the plants to obtain water and nutrients from the soil and light from the sun, which are essential for their growth and survival. At the end, I would like to suggest you to read and learn this chapter as many times as you can, because this is a quite informative chapter rather than explanatory. If repeatedly you revise and learn it, then you can use that knowledge for your examinations and all. Thank you.